Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever had something like a door open up so perfectly, so supernaturally that you just knew it had to be God? Like every single piece fell into place in a way that only He could orchestrate. And then it didn't work. Or maybe, and this is the one that really gets you, maybe you were the one that said no. And then spent months, maybe years, wondering, did I just walk away from my blessing? Child, pull up a chair because today we are going all the way in on this one. I'm Faye. Welcome to Rooted and Real, the space where we don't pretend, we don't perform, and we absolutely do not show up with our church faces on. This is a girlfriend over coffee territory. Real talk, real faith, real life. And today I'm going to tell you a story from my life, a story about a dream I had, a door God opened, a decision I made, and what happened when I almost let the enemy set up a whole apartment in my mind because of it. If you ever felt like God showed you something, moved heaven and earth to line it up, and then it still didn't happen the way you thought it would, this video is for you. Stay with me. We're going deep today. So, let me set the scene for you. I have been in my career for a very long time, long enough that I could do my job with my eyes closed. And don't get me wrong, I was good at it. I was showing up, I was delivering, I was the person people counted on, but something in me shifted. People kept telling me, Faye, you're not stuck. But I felt stuck. Like I hit a ceiling or like I didn't have a choice and I had to just stick it out and just stay there. And like this could possibly be where my story ends. You know the feeling. So I decided to do something about it. I went back to school and I earned my cybersecurity certification. I put in the work and I was ready for something new. And then I went to this tech conference. Now, listen, I showed up at the conference and I was going to a variety of different companies, and many of them initially were looking for people who had newly graduated from college. And that wasn't my story. But this next day, it was just something about me that was different. And I made one solid impression on a recruiter. And when I got back from the conference and I got home, guess what? My phone rang. They wanted to set up a call for a position. And y'all, you know what I did? I called my mentor. I said, can you do a mock interview with me? She asked me the name of the company and the person I'll be talking to. I told her. She said, I just saw that person at a conference. I know him. I'll put it in a good word for you. What are the odds? Like, what are the actual mathematical, statistical odds of that? My mentor just happened to be at the same conference, just happened to know this man, just happened to be in a position to vouch for me. I said, God, only you could do this. I made it through the first interview, then his boss, then his boss's boss. They extended me an offer. No more long commutes, a brand new chapter, a total career shift, everything I have been praying for. And then I saw the salary. It was significantly less than what I was making. Significantly. And I had this moment where I thought, wait, why would God bring all this together, every single piece moving like clockwork, and the offer doesn't make financial sense? Why would he let me get that close? I prayed about it. I really did. And I felt a peace about declining, so I said no. But then that second guessing started. I started thinking, was that the right call? Should I have trusted God to make up the difference? Was that supposed to be my Red Sea moment? The moment where I step into the water and God provide? Because I know how God works. He doesn't always need the math to make sense. He just needs you to take the step. And I started wondering if I had played it too safe, if I'd let fear dressed up as wisdom take me out of my season. Have you ever done that? Made a decision that felt right in the moment, but then spent months in your own head about it? That's where I was. Here's what I didn't want to admit. I was angry, not loud, table flipping angry, but that quiet, deep, won't say it out loud angry. The kind where you're still going to church, still leading, still showing up for your family, still doing everything for everybody, but on the inside, you're having a conversation with God that you would never repeat in Bible study. I was thinking, I was asking, where did you, why? Why did you let me get that close? Why let me go through all that, feel all that favor, and then have it not work out? And the thing about being that person everyone else depends on, you don't really get to fall apart publicly, right? You keep the smile on at church, you keep being strong at home, you keep pouring into everybody else. And somewhere along the way, you forget that you are exhausted. You forget that you are the one running on empty. You forget that the person doing everything for everyone still needs somebody. And if that's you right now, if you're holding it together for everybody while secretly falling apart, I just want you to know God sees you. He's not ignoring your exhaustion. He is not oblivious to the weight you're carrying. And He is not mad at your questions. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your plans or paths straight. Proverbs 3 5 through 6. Had this verse memorized. I could quote it in my sleep. But there's a difference between knowing the scripture and actually living it when your path doesn't look the way you thought it would. Because trusting God is easy when things are going your way. The real test is trusting Him when they're not. So, here's where things shifted for me. I was talking to my girlfriend. You know how it is when you finally tell your person what's really going on, not the edited version, the real version. And we're talking, and something came out of the conversation that hit me like a ton of bricks. The idea that sometimes God is not just testing whether we trust Him. Sometimes He's asking, will you praise me even when you don't get what you want? Or are you going to have an adult tantrum? And y'all, when I tell you, I felt called out because I had to look myself in the mirror and ask, am I operating from a heart of faith and gratitude, or am I sulking because God's plan didn't match my plan? Am I a grown woman of God, or am I acting like a spiritual toddler who got told no at the toy store? And right there, something cracked open. I said out loud, enough. I don't want to be like this. I want to always have a heart posture of appreciation, praise, and love for God, regardless of the outcome. Because here's the truth, He is good even when my circumstances don't feel good. He is faithful even when my timeline doesn't line up with His. And then here's the confirmation I didn't even know I needed. My husband later found out from someone he met that the company I turned down does not treat their employees well. that layoffs were happening all through the tech space, that it was a hard season for a lot of people over there. God was protecting me. That door that looks like an opportunity, it may have been a storm in disguise, and He loves me enough to close it. A closed door is not always a punishment. Sometimes it is the greatest act of protection God can give you. I want to give you three scriptures that became like anchors for me in this season. Write these down, screenshot this, send this to a girlfriend. All right, anchor number one: silver and gold are purified by fire, but God purifies hearts. Proverbs 17:3. Here's what this verse told me: the discomfort I was feeling wasn't punishment, it was process. Fire doesn't destroy gold, it refines it. It burns away what doesn't belong. And sometimes God allows us to go through a painful process, not because He's forgotten us, but because He's forming us, He's growing us, He's maturing us. The version of faith on the other side of that disappointment is more grounded, more grateful, more anchored in faith than she was before. The fire did its job. Anchor number two: the promise of all things. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. That's Romans 8:28. Notice what it says: all things. Not the good things, not the things that make sense. Hello. Not the things you prayed for and got. All things. The rejection, the door that closed, the offer that didn't add up financially, the positions you interviewed for and didn't get, all of it being worked together for your good. You just can't always see it from the middle of it. Anchor number three: the plans He has. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord: plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. This verse is famous, but I want you to think about the context. God said this to people in exile, people who were far from where they thought they'd be, people who were waiting on a promise that hadn't shown up yet. And He said, I know the plans. Not, I hope things work out for you. Not, well, we'll figure it out. I know, which means even when you don't know, He does. Even when the plan doesn't look like the plan, He's still working the plan. Hello? He is still working the plan. Okay, so let me leave you with some practical handles, because I know some of you are in this right now, not on the other side of it, and you need something to hold on to. Here's what helps me and what I'll tell any woman walking through this: give yourself permission to feel it, but set a deadline, 1 or 2 days to grieve the disappointment. Then you have to move forward. Staying in a sunken place too long gives the enemy real estate in your mind. He does not deserve that lease. Now, the next thing: talk to your person, not to vent in circles, but to actually process. Sometimes a trusted girlfriend will say the thing you need to hear that God has been trying to tell you. So, don't underestimate the power of a godly community. Shift your focus to what is working. I started looking at the blessings in the job I already had, the stability, the people, the provision. Gratitude is not passive, it is an act of faith. And the next thing: keep showing up. Don't let disappointment make you go quiet or pull back from God. That's the worst time to go silent. Stay in the Word, stay in prayer. Even if that prayer sounds like, God, I don't understand this, but I trust you. And the last thing I want to say is remind yourself a closed door is not the final chapter. Just as God opened that door, He can open another one, or He can help you create your own. This is not the end of your story. What door has God closed on you that turned out to be for His protection? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. If this blessed you, let me know in the comments. Until next time, stay rooted, stay grounded, and keep the faith.